check. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Testing 1. Ooh, I like that one better. We go Carolina Reaper, Ghost, Scorpion. Well, we will see. In fact, we will try in this panel. You guys, I'm so excited you're here! I'm so glad to see you guys. Yay, Matsuri has returned. We wait all year for just these 3 days. And then we all go back to our boring lives. Somebody just gave me a jar full of homemade salsa that they think is going to be too spicy. I doubt it. So I think I'll drink it in our panel. Yeah, so you might want to get your cameras ready because it could be bad. Look, Vic threw up right in the middle of the panel.
What? Let's go down that way. Oh my God, Isaac.
This guy has a very sharp ring on his hand. Oh, that's fine. Is that everybody? Woohoo! I missed you guys. No, you didn't. Oh, no, I did, really. I told everybody. This is one of my favorite events, and I look forward to it every year. And it's because of you guys. We have such a great group of people here, and every year it just gets better. And you know, this is kind of cool because Fridays are usually, typically the smallest, like the lightest attendance of the events. Saturday's usually the biggest one, Sunday is the second biggest, and Friday is usually the smallest. So this will be our intimate little quiet gathering together before the craziness of tomorrow. Did you guys see those cool cars downstairs? Yeah. Whoa! Will you help me steal one? Hey, Junpei! You and me, baby. Let's go steal a good one. There's some good cars down there, man.
Right, the Aston Martin's down there?
Have you seen the Aston Martin? I didn't see it yet, but I heard it was down there. I was just amazed at some of the cars in the vendor's room. It's like, I want that one, and that one, and I want that one. For those of you that are like, why did I get dragged into this room? My name is Vic Mignogna. It's not Mignogna. It's not McPaderp. It's Mignogna. It's Italiano. And I'm a voice actor for about 400 different animated series and video games. I've been doing it for a very long time. Let's not talk about my age. Oh my gosh, where's my married couple? My Rangers that are married. There they are! Come up here. I have to tell on you guys. Come up here. Get up here! Okay. Turn around. Face everyone so they can see you. So you guys introduce yourselves for me.
I'm Dea.
John?
John and Dea. John and Dea met in my fan club, the Risen Bull Rangers, and they bonded over their mutual, look, they're holding hands. Oh, it's so romantic. They bonded over their mutual interest in but tell them.
We bonded over pretty much him.
See, I can't say that. She can say it. But I can't. If I said it, you're like, wow, what a jerk. So ego. No, they told me this at my table. And you know what, you guys? I want to tell you something. When you get to be my age, you don't laugh. I heard that. When you get to be my age, you start reflecting on what you've done in your life. What have you done that that is of real value, you know, that may even outlast you in some way. And I've loved voice acting. It's been one of my favorite things I've ever done, that and Star Trek. And yes, we will talk about Star Trek, so you can leave now if you don't want to hear any more nerd talk about Star Trek, because it's happening. But, you know, I love all those things, but as I've gotten older and reflected on my life and everything, as you do, as you get older, I got to tell you, this kind of story, you can't put a price tag on that. There is no dollar value that you could assign to having had any small part, no matter how big or small, any small part in helping two people meet each other and fall in love with each other. I mean, who knows what their future is going to hold, right? For decades and decades. They go on to have children, and the way they raise their kids, and what they, you know, how they raise them on Full Metal Alchemist, and all the important life, right? And it is so humbling. I can't think of another word. It's just so humbling to be a small part of people's lives. You know, I would go to Star Trek conventions. There weren't anime conventions. We're talking a long time ago. Don't do the math. But a long time ago. In fact, a lot of you don't even know this. Did you know, first of all, I'm making them awkward standing up here. Give them a round of applause. John and Dea, thank you guys, thank you. You know, a lot of you don't even know this, but do you know that every Comic-Con in the world, San Diego Comic-Con, all the big ones, any anime conventions, supernatural conventions, Walking Dead conventions, any conventions you can think of, started with Star Trek. Did you know that? A lot of you don't know that. 50 years ago, 45 years ago, a bunch of fans that loved the original series of Star Trek wanted to celebrate their love for that show. And they rented a hotel, and they asked some of the actors to come in, and that was the very first fan-driven convention. Anything ever. I just heard Star Trek. What are the odds of that I'm standing? Let's see it. Whip it out, bro. That did not come out right. His phone has a communicator sound on it. This is what he whipped out. So get your minds out of the gutter. Anyway, all of these conventions that we now enjoy for so many different things started because a bunch of fans who loved Star Trek decided to make a fan-driven convention. So even the anime conventions, now all of them, you know, when I was a little boy, I went to Star Trek conventions, and I'm just 12, 13 years old, and I would go and meet these actors that played the characters on the TV show that I loved. And I was amazed, right? I'm standing there going, oh, you're Dr. McCoy. Oh, Leonard Nimoy. Oh, Mr. Spock. Hi. Victor. You know, I'm just so excited to meet these people. And if you ever hear them talk, they will tell you they never imagined anybody would care about this kooky little cheesy TV show that they did for only 3 years. Did you know that? The original Star Trek show, it was on for 3 television seasons and then it was canceled. Now look at how much Star Trek we've had over the last 60 years. Movies, video games, magazines, TV shows, on and on and on it goes. Because of those 3 seasons and how the fans loved it. But the actors will tell you, they never imagined in a million years that this dumb little thing that they did would ever have grown and exploded into what it has. And if you listen to them talk like in panels like this, they'll tell you about fans that come to see them, and the fans say, "Your work changed my life. I'm an engineer today because of Scott. I'm a scientist today because of Mr. Spock. I'm a teacher today, or I'm studying astronomy or aeronautics or any number of things because they were inspired by that show." And these actors will tell you exactly what I'm telling you now. We never imagined in a million years that something that we did would make any difference to anyone. Not on any large scale, you know? Oh, sure, I love that show. Oh, sure, that was fun. Oh, that was really cool. But to have had a part of things that really have moved people and even changed them, maybe helped them get through a difficult time, you know? Like the loss of somebody close to them, or an illness, or a family breakup, or depression, anxiety. I would never ask for a show of hands in this room, but how many of us struggle with sadness or loneliness or anxiety? We all do. If you think you're alone, you're not. You're probably in a sea of people that struggle with the same things you do. And so, to go back to Dea and John, you know, to know that anything I ever did made any kind of positive impression on somebody, as I've gotten older, that is what I cherish more than anything. It's not any awards, it's not any amount of money, it's just knowing that I did something and I did the best I could, you know, and it moved people, or encouraged them, or brought them together. And who knows what amazing things will come from that, you know? How they're gonna raise their kids, and then their kids are gonna have kids. And they're probably gonna share with them what their parents shared with them. So I wanna go ahead and turn this into encouragement to you. Every single one of you have that power. Don't think you don't. There are people that you see every day in your jobs, in your family, in your neighbors, that neighborhood, in your schools, that you have the potential to make an impact on. So, and those are the things that will stick with you. Those are the things that you will remember, that you will cherish years from now. So I just wanted to make that point, that I absolutely am so humbled and honored to have been a small part of their coming together. And for you guys too. I mean, anything that I've ever been a part of that you have enjoyed or encouraged is really very, very precious to me. Okay, we're done talking about that stuff. That is a giant scythe.
Your dad loves you.
I was telling her there was a Maka cosplay. I know her because she came earlier to see me at my table, but as I was coming up here, there was another Maka cosplayer, and I always do the same thing when I see Maka, right? Because I played her dad, right? And I saw her like, Maka! And she was walking, she goes, it's like, what the heck? You break your dad's heart. Okay, is Squally here yet? Can you text her? No, you're not here? She says from the back of the room, no, I'm not here. I have an announcement. I have something very special that's making a world premiere here at Anime Matsuri. I have a very, very limited number, but she brought it. Oh, what did you, oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, so everybody. What? Okay, I have I've been working on this for a long time, and I'm very excited to finally have some produced. And I will have them. I did not have them at my autograph session today because I wanted to announce it to everybody, but they will be here tomorrow. They will be at my autograph table tomorrow and Sunday, as long as they last. But there are only about 20. And this is what it is. It's an original figure. This is not a Funko. It's a Creo. You know what Creo means? It's Latin for I create. Isn't that kind of cool? So this is an original custom made that will sit right beside your other pops, your other figurines. Now what's fun about it is if you look closely at it, there are elements of 13 different characters that I've played, all rolled into this one guy. Want to take a look? What? I will do that. You can have the first one. There are only 20 of them. Isn't that neat? Sorry?
The same as the prototype from last year?
No, it's better.
Oh, it is even better, yes.
Yes, dude, this is really happening, really? Oh, look, you dropped it. I was kidding. I just found it. He didn't pay for this. Dude, let me sign it for you later. First one on the planet, right there. Yes, we will have them. Oh, and guess what else? So the guy that was making them for me, he ran out of time. And he said I couldn't get any more than about 20 of them painted. And if you look at them closely, and he's looking at it right there, it's a heck of a paint job. Like, you'll see, tell me some of the characters you see represented there. Yep, Full Metal.
Short as Edward.
Yes, this is Ed's life-size figure. Oh yeah, yeah. You'll see Naruto, One Piece, Vampire Knight, Ruby, Dragon Ball, Persona. I know there's some Junpei fans in here. Hold on to this for me. So the guy said, "Oh, I only got like 20 of them painted, and he's going to have more for me at some upcoming events." But he said, "I printed several, I just haven't gotten them painted." And I had an idea. Y'all are creative, aren't you? Like, if there's one thing about anime fans I know, you're creative. You love drawing, painting, creating, right? Kind of funny the thing's called a Creo, isn't it? C-R-E-O, I create. So I had him send me some unpainted ones too. And then I thought, wouldn't it be fun? You could custom paint it however you wanted to and make it one of a kind for yourself, your own. I was even thinking it'd be fun to have a contest, you know, to see who came up with the coolest paint idea. So I will have those tomorrow at my table, and I got 20. So 19. Yes. So tomorrow, I think the show opens at 10 tomorrow, right? Okay. So I'll be there at 10 tomorrow, and if that's, and I love those little figures. I have lots of my own. We made some changes. Those of you that are like, there are some changes. It's not just like a Funko at all. It's got a different nose, it's got a mouth. Funkos don't even have mouths. And it's got some other little changes that make it unique. It's also 3D printed. It's not like a vinyl mass-produced thing, which in my opinion makes it even more special, right? I don't know about you, but the fact that there aren't many on the planet kind of makes it special. So, yeah, right? He knows. Oh, come on, give me one. I told him I was going to tell you about this too. This guy brought these for me to sign today. Now let me tell you what's cool about them. Run your finger across it. They're 3D printed, and they're like raised like 2D?
2D, 3D.
2D, 3D. Is that cool? Look, check that out. Feel like it like kind of jumps off the card. And I've never seen anything like these. I've seen a lot of stuff. So this guy is the one creating them, and I thought that was cool. Creo, right here. He creates. Okay, I think I should drink that salsa now, don't you? Yeah, that's happening. All right. This looks good. All right, hold on. Here, would you hold this for me? Supposed to be 5 habaneros. Between you and me, habaneros are not hot. My buddy Skip, stand up, Skip. Give Skip a hand right here, buddy. Yeah! That is one sexy t-shirt you got on, too. Star Trek continues, oh yeah. Skip is my good friend from Dallas, and Skip knows there are very few things that are too spicy for me. I love spicy. Any spicy fans here? Yes! I knew you were my people! Alrighty, here we go. I can't even believe I'm doing this! What? What?
He doesn't like who
Thank you. She made it, so if anyone says, "Hey, who killed Vic Mignogna?" Okay, ready?
Chuck.
Let's see that face.
Hot?
That's good. That's good. Okay, one more. Who wants to try it? Who's a spice lover? Okay, but you can't drink from this side because that would be like us kissing. Over here, man.
If you were there last time.
Throw it in.
Cheers.
It's good. That's good.
And it's flavorful. You know how there are some spicy things, they're just painful. You know what I mean? They don't really have any flavor. They're just painful. This is great. We'll try it?
Hi, Vic. It's been a while.
Hey! Good to see you.
Good to see you.
All right. Throw it back. Cheers. Okay, it's his first time in Houston, and he's been trying to find something spicy.
I even had smoking hot, whatever they said, and it was just like,
It's never smoking. You know what, you guys? Can I tell you something? Almost anything you buy over the counter will never be that spicy. They're not going to take a chance on you sending it back. You know? Yeah, I mean, they don't want to make it so spicy you can't handle it. So they're always going to err on the side of, oh, it's not quite spicy enough. This is good stuff. I love you. Cheers. Turn up. It's good. Don't tell her, but it's not that spicy.
no. I was expecting. It's good.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be.
Got a great flavor.
Come on over here. This is a BYOS right here. Bring your own salsa.
All right.
Shoot it.
Let's go.
That's good, man. That's really good. Isn't it? Super good. It's really good. Yes, I don't mind if you give it a taste. And then we'll continue with the panel, I promise. You're like, this is the worst panel ever. Vic just walks around, makes people drink salsa. Hey, be some for me, bro.
Wow. Tastes delicious!
Woo! That is good. That feels really good. Kakarot. It's Kakarot salsa. Oh, by the way, somebody's Sharpie blew up in my hand. It was gold at one point, and nothing will take it off. So maybe the salsa will. Maybe the salsa will melt it off. Take a few layers of skin with it. Okay, so who's got a question? And we'll start just kind of answering questions. We can talk about Star Trek, obviously. We can talk about anime, we can talk about voice acting, we can talk about all kinds of things. Yes? Oh, thank you, bro. Thank you. Yay, mic runner.
Do you still have plans to like open your own studio and? Like...
Oh yes, that is happening. Like you guys know, right? Anime Matsuri, AM Studios. Yes. In fact, I will tell you something. We were this close to premiering a series here, but there's a lot involved. Just trust me when I tell you. There's a lot involved in negotiating licenses, getting all the materials that you need to dub something, casting, oh, more than that, translating the whole show, time coding it. There's a lot of work involved. And, you know, when you're negotiating with people that are on the other side of the world, you know, it gets a little tricky. And it takes a little longer than you would like it to sometimes. So we've been talking, we've got a couple of licenses for some series. Did you guys, how many of you guys saw like Shimezo and Vic Mignogna last year? Well, you know, guess what, you guys? Shimezo's on Amazon Prime now. So check it out, and please go watch it. In fact, buy it, it's $5. I mean, you can't even buy a Starbucks cup of coffee for $5. But it'll help support AM Studios. And I know that's what you guys want to do. So we were so close, we were going to be dubbing the first couple of episodes and have it to premiere here this year, and we just couldn't quite get all of the materials lined up in time. But it's happening, and we're all really, really excited about it. So thank you for the question. Who's got a question? Yes, sir.
Two questions. One's a joke and one's serious.
Go ahead and pick somebody.
The serious question is, how is John and his wife with anime studios? Are they really hands-on when you direct things compared to like Funimation/Crunchyroll or what have you? And then the joke question is, when are you going to have your own line of pants?
We're already making fun of my pants. It's
Friday afternoon, y'all.
You're already coming at me. I only wrote these because I really hoped you would ask that question. No, you know what? I love weird things, you know? I just do. And if there's any place on the planet you should be able to wear weird stuff, it's an anime convention. Am I right? So this is my only chance to wear weird stuff. And I know people like to tease me. That's fine. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. The serious question... John and Denise are two of my favorite people in the world. They are some quality human beings. They are, for those of you who don't know, John and Denise Lee are the owners, creators, heads of Anime Matsuri. And I think it's fair to say they've done a pretty awesome job in creating an amazing convention. Trust me when I tell you, I've done probably 1,000 conventions, maybe more. And this is one of my favorites. It's wonderful. And part of that, a lot of that goes to not only John and Denise, but the staff people that they bring on, the kind of people they surround themselves with that help them accomplish something of this size. Because a couple of people could never pull this off, right? There's just too many moving parts. So they are very committed to AM Studios as well. They're very hands-on kind of people. And I really appreciate that. Because they're the kind of people that, like, if their names, and I'll bet you a lot of you are like this, if your name's going to be on it, it better be good. You want it to be good, right? You want it to represent you well. And they understand that, you know, AM Studios, AM Anime Matsuri, like this is their baby. So they want it to be good and they want it to be right and as professional and efficient as possible. So that's what we're aiming for, and we're going to hit it. I mean, it's definitely going to happen. We have the resources and the talent and the actors and the facilities to do as good a job as any other studio. And the fact that we aren't as big, you know, as big a lumbering, like a huge company, you know, allows us to take, you know, a little more care and pay a little more attention, you know what I mean? And spend a little more effort, time to make something really good. So we're very excited about it, and they are amazing. Yes, question?
Oh, hello, Vic.
Hey, man.
Welcome to Houston, by the way.
Thank you.
So I have two questions related to, you know, video games. So I know you probably have history of voice acting a lot of video games. So the first question is, what is your favorite video game moment working with the video game industry? And second is, well, I have three. So the second is, what's your favorite game you work on?
Okay.
And the third one is have you started working on development of Budokai Tenkaichi 4?
Okay. First question. Video games. I think the video game that I had the most fun working on was World of Warcraft. And it was mostly because I kind of tricked my way into getting cast. Did I tell you guys this story last year? I did, didn't I? About, what's his name? Ner'zhul, right? And the character that I auditioned for, and he's this big, huge, you know, orc guy, and clearly I'm not. So I did something weird for the audition, and they actually liked it. So I didn't think they would, but they did. So I really enjoyed that one. Somebody today at my autograph session downstairs actually brought an insert from the very first video game that I ever did called
Street Fighter 2.
No, Unlimited Saga. Is it you? Here he is. Here's my man right here. And I gotta tell you, I have not seen that in 20 years. And what's really fun about it, thanks bro, what's really fun about that game was that those of us that were working at ADV Films here in Houston way back then, none of us had ever done a video game before. And it was like the same core of actors, Chris Patton, Monica Rial, Greg Ayers, Jason Douglas, like there were about 8 or 10 of us that did a lot of the shows, and we were doing all these anime series, but nobody had ever done a video game. And so we were so excited when ADV Films got rights to dub this game. And so we were really excited to be a part of it. Now, some people told me it wasn't that great a game. You remember what I told you tonight, downstairs? It's called Unlimited Saga, is the name of the game. And I hope I don't get in trouble with the people that made the game by saying this, but there were several voice actors who, after they played the game, they didn't think it was that great. That the running joke around the studio was that it was not called Unlimited Saga, it was called Unlimited Suck. Because apparently, I don't know if it was, you're gonna let me know though, right? You're gonna play it, you're gonna let me know if it was good or not. Cool, let me know, report back to me. Okay, thanks man. Question? Yes?
Right here.
Hey there!
Okay, so there's this documentary that I watched about the making of God of War. And it's from the 2018 game, and the voice actor Christopher Judge, when he was playing like that big man Kratos.
Wait, Christopher Judge, is that the guy that was in Stargate?
Yes.
Yeah, I know him. Yes, he's great. Go ahead.
So he was the new voice actor for Kratos, and there was this one particular moment in the game when he he has to save his son, and he had pretty much has to dig up his past, and like, because he used to be a ruthless God killer, and he regretted that deeply. But there was this moment where a person was trying to dig in really deep into his emotions and his memories to try to make it authentic. And there was a moment where he had to, maybe just seen a couple of times where he actually cried. But I was wondering if there's ever a moment for you when there's in any series where you had to dig in deep into your past just to try to get some kind of emotion out of it.
Yes, many times. Yeah, you're the one with the cruel head. Did you see her walking around with this vertebrae? I think she ripped this out of somebody. I don't know. Yes, there have been several times that mostly in Full Metal Alchemist. I think that would be fair to say. Of all the shows that I've done, I think that one probably moved me and grabbed me more than most any other show that I'd ever done. And I know I've said this before, and so I want to apologize if I'm repeating myself, but I think it's relevant. Whenever I would find myself emotionally moved by a moment in Full Metal, I mean, when it got to the point that I was really invested in Ed and his relationship with Al and his relationship with Winry and his sadness over his mom and his anger over his dad and all of those things, and there were several times that I was recording and I would be moved to tears. And the director would say, do you want to take a minute? Like, do you want to take a moment, go get a drink of water and kind of gather your composure? And my immediate thought was, hell no. Like, let's record now, right? While it's real and visceral. Because once you get used to it, then you're acting, right? You have to sound, you have to make your voice sound like you're crying. But what if you're really crying, I mean, then it's real. And there's just that, you get that one little moment, you only get that one chance when something hits you in your gut, in your heart, and then you kind of, you can come back down, you settle down, your composure. But you have that one little chance to capture the genuine emotion you're feeling. So that happened a lot in Full Metal Alchemist. A lot of times when you heard Ed crying or emotional, I promise you, it was real. Questions? Go ahead. Hi there. Hi.
All of the 400 plus projects that you've done, which one is your first favorite and your least favorite?
Well, definitely first favorite is Full Metal. But a very close second place is Oron High School Host Club.
Notice me, senpai!
I'm sorry, what was that, Alfred?
Notice me, senpai!
Oh, I noticed you, princess. You beautiful poor person. I love Full Metal and Oron. And then you said, like, down at the bottom. You know what? I know this is kind of like a lame answer, but there isn't anything at the bottom. I love everything I've ever gotten to do. Even ones that are like small little kind of throwaway things. I just enjoy the work, You know what they say, right? You've heard people say this. If you love your job, you'll never work a day in your life, right? And I have to tell you that, I've had a lot of jobs in my life. I'm old. I've had a lot of jobs. I write music professionally. I've written a lot of jingles even, that since we're in Houston, you've probably heard a lot of commercial jingles that I wrote years ago. Academy of Sports and Outdoors, the right stuff at the right price. Remember that? Yeah, I wrote that. And there were like all kinds of like restaurants, Saltgrass Steakhouse, and diagnostic clinic and Fiesta Mart, grocery stores, and I mean, I wrote dozens of jingles and music for different agencies and projects. And then, you know, I mean, I was a greenskeeper at a golf course, and I was a limo driver. I was a chauffeur for a while, and I've done a lot of weird things in my life. But voice acting has been so much fun. I've loved every minute of it. So no matter how big or small the character, it's always been fun. So there's really nothing at the bottom of the list that I would say, oh, I hated playing that role. No, I loved all of them. To varying degrees, but I loved all of them. Even Soldier A. Okay. So now that you said that, I have to tell you. You guys, downstairs at my table, I also have, I've over the years, I've created 6, composed and produced and recorded 6 different music CDs. And there's a song on one of them that was inspired by the anime characters that voice actors play that are so small and insignificant, they don't even have a name. They're guy on bench, you know, woman at restaurant, they're man behind bush, you know, they're not even important. Soldier A, Soldier B, right? That kind of thing. And so myself and 2 other voice actors, Jay Hickman and Chris Patton, both, we were all living in Houston at the time, working at ADV Films, and we were all joking about how we always, they'll bring you into play the character that you're like your named main character, and then when you're done, the director will be like, hey, you know what, I've got you for 9 more minutes. Let me plug a few holes here. Go to page 19 and play, you know, Army Guy 4. Ah! Done, right? That's literally it. Go back, go back. Done, move on. Like just throwaway stuff. So we always used to tease about Soldier A, Soldier A. So we wrote a song called Soldier A, and you know it, she knows it, she's laughing here. It's really fun, it's on one of my CDs, but it celebrates all of those characters that are not important enough to have a name. Yes?
One of my favorite animes you voice acted in was Full Metal Panic.
Ooh!
And
Kurtz Weber.
yes,
Yeah.
it's my favorite character.
Kurtz, baby.
My question is, especially Famofu was so funny. I'm just wondering, how hard was it in any anime you've acted to get through it because it was so funny?
You know, you know what I have to tell you about Famofu. You guys, are you familiar with this? Some of you? There was a series called Full Metal Panic, and it's kind of an army series, military kind of a thing.
It's kind of like a mech.
Yeah, mecha kind of, yeah. And I played this character named Kurtz Weber, and he was kind of a creep, but he was fun. He was a really funny guy. And when Famofu came along, which was kind of like a season of Full Metal Panic that was just crazy, just hijinks. It had nothing to do with anything except being kooky. And I remember that the director called me and he said, hey man, we're doing this Famofu thing. And he goes, I feel really bad because like Kurtz Weber is like, he's only in it like for a couple of episodes. Arguably the best episodes. The Hot Springs episode is the funniest thing I've ever seen. But the director, his name was Don, I still remember. Don said, I feel bad because Kurtz Weber just isn't in Famofu that much, so I'm gonna have you play some other characters. I was like, okay. So one of them, I still see people cosplay this to this day at conventions. His name was Pony Man. Do you guys remember the Pony guy? Any Famofu fans? It was this guy who literally wore a horse head on top of his like mask, a horse head mask, and he ran around with like wire and glue, and he glued girls' hair into ponytails. Who said that? Oh, that was the funniest part. You know what his lines were? All of his dialogue. Every word he spoke. Pony. I was just, I'll give you an example. Can I use your example? I just want you to say something. Just normal, just make up a sentence that has a little bit of like personality to it. Okay. Just go ahead. Come over here with me. Hear that? Do it again. Come over here with me. Here's what Bonnie is. Pony, pony, pony. Like literally every word. You have to inflect it to try to make it sound like he was communicating. So pony, 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 pony. I mean, whatever, but you couldn't use any other word but pony. Even now, I see people with those rubber horse heads, and it's just so fun. Yes, hi.
Hello. Since you've signed a lot of things, what is the weirdest and coolest thing you've signed?
Wow. Do babies count? I'm gonna take your laughter as yes. I have signed babies. Hopefully it washed off. Can you imagine some kid, 10-year-old kid coming up going, see this? You put this on my head when I was 6 months old, and it's never gone away. Like, do your parents bathe you? Like, no, you know what though? Some of the most impactful, and I'm so sorry, this is gonna get heavy again, but I'm sorry. It's gonna kind of go back to what we talked about at the beginning. Some of the most impactful things that I have signed have been things, how do I say it? Heavy, emotional representations. Case in point, someone who had a prosthetic arm or lost their leg in a car accident, and they came and literally would put their prosthetic leg up on the table and ask me to sign their auto mail, right? And I mean, how humbling is that, you know? That's happened several times. I think there are probably like 15 or 20, I think I've counted now in my 20 years, 15 or 20 people who have my signature permanently tattooed on their bodies. Why? That's all I want to know. They're going to regret that one day, right? They're going to be 75 or 80 years old one day, and they're going to be going, what was I thinking? Who is this anyway? I don't even remember who this is. But like people come up and say, oh, would you sign your name around my ankle, or would you sign here, or would you sign here, or here? And then they'll come back the next year at the event and go, look. What did you do? Yeah, I can't help but think they'll regret it one day, but, what? Huh? No, I'm supposed to. Sorry, my boss is sending me messages. Reminder about things. She's so good. You know what? She needs some love. Stand up. You guys, this is Alyssa Flutie. She is lovingly referred to as Squally. And she's one of my favorite people in the world. So if you see her, you tell her how awesome she is, okay? She'll be helping at the table this weekend, so if you come to see me this weekend, you'll get to see her first, which will be better. Be kind of anticlimactic. Say, oh, we met Squally, let's go. We don't really need to talk to Vic. But she asked me, and thank you for that. Anybody here like audiobooks? Okay, I love audiobooks, because I hate reading. I mean, I used to like it. When I was little, I loved reading. My mom would take me, we had 2 libraries in town, and my mom would take me to both libraries on Monday, and I would get 1 book from each library and read it through the week, and then she would take me back the next week, we'd turn those books in and get 2 more books. And so I read a lot when I was young, and then I discovered movies. So whenever we were assigned to do a book report for like a famous novel in school, Treasure Island, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, whatever, the big ones, right? Moby Dick, one of the big classics. My first question was, is there a movie version of it? And I would want to watch the movie instead of read the book. But then when I discovered audiobooks, I'm like, it's kind of cool. It's kind of like a drama, like an audio drama, and I don't have to read, and I can just listen and enjoy it. So when COVID hit, and all the studios shut down, and there wasn't a lot going on, as luck would have it, several authors contacted me and said, "Hey, I'm a big fan of your voice work. And I'm an author, and I've written these books, and I would like to hire you to record the audiobook version of my books." One of them is actually here this weekend. In fact, I'd like to encourage you to go and see him. His name is Brian Peterson. He's written a couple of amazing books, and I recorded the audiobook version. The first one was called Paper Doll. Kind of a historical drama, World War II era, that involves his family, a lot of it true story stuff. Very compelling. The second one is called The Nova Quadrant. Is it out now? The Nova Quadrant is sci-fi, full-on sci-fi, very cool. I also recorded a book called The Crimson Spark, which I'm very excited about. It's available right now on Amazon and iTunes. I'm actually recording the sequel to it right now at my home. What's another one? In Plain Sight. Thank you, I love that guy. In Plain Sight, really cool, cool book. Was there another one? I feel like there was. There's also a Star Trek one. You know I had to work that in, right? Star Trek, it's called These Are the Voyages, and it was about the making of the original series. It's very comprehensive, all kind of behind the scenes about all of the challenges and struggles that they had trying to bring Star Trek to the television, and all of the difficulties working with the networks, actors, writing, all kinds of really cool things. So audiobooks, check those out if you would. I would be most grateful. What else am I supposed to talk about, Squally? Twitch! You guys, how many of you guys are on my live stream every Wednesday night? Yay! Look, my Twitch love. I love you guys. I love you, love you. I like you. I love you, love you. You're okay. Just kidding. You guys, every Wednesday night, you guys know what Twitch is, right? I do a live stream every Wednesday night. On Twitch, 6 p.m. your time, Central, and we would love for you to join us. We have all kinds of fun stuff, make all kinds of new friends. It's a lot of fun. We have a fan cam that people can join in and like FaceTime on screen with me and all the other fans. We have a great time. So check that out. What is it? How would they find it? Real Vic Mignogna? Is that what it is? Yeah. And then the last thing I'm supposed to talk about, just a lot of you may or may not know that I do a lot of music. I've been writing and producing music twice as long as I've been voice acting. That's a long time. And a lot of fans have really enjoyed my music over the years. A lot of people have like sung it at their weddings, had stuff, they performed it like for talent contests at school or maybe at their churches or something. So a few months ago, I put together a sheet music book, a music book of like 16 of the more well-known songs that I've written that are on my CDs. And they're beautifully transcribed, so if you play the piano, you could play them. If you play the guitar, they have guitar tabs. If you sing, you could have somebody accompany you. You've got the sheet music. It's 100 pages of 16 different songs. It's all available at Amazon. You can get it there. So if that sounds like something interesting, please check that out too. Yes? Question?
Oh, yeah.
Hey!
Hello. Yeah, just a couple of questions. The first question, at this point, it's kind of redundant, but how compelling do you think the voice acting is as a reader? And the second question, I'm very sorry to say it. No, that's fine. Can you do your best Walter White impression?
You mean Heisenberg? Wow, I'd have to think about what he sounds like. I haven't really ever tried to imitate him. Does he have I mean, I've seen Breaking Bad. It's awesome series. How about Better Call Saul? Oh my gosh, I love Better Call Saul. It's great. But I never really thought of Walter White having a unique voice. Like, there wasn't anything in particular that made me think, ooh, imitate that, or I could do that. I'll have to think about that one. Can you do it? I was hoping you could. It's like, I want to hear it. And what was the first question? What? Jesse. What was the first question?
How fulfilling do you think voice acting is?
Oh, voice acting, how fulfilling is voice acting? Voice acting is very fulfilling if you're creative, if you like to create characters. How many of you have ever played a role in a stage play or done any acting of any sort? A lot of you, I'll bet, right? Well, voice acting is basically acting only in front of a microphone. So if you've done stage plays or theater or even on camera work, voice acting is pretty much the same thing, only instead of standing on a stage, you're behind a microphone. And another fun thing is, you don't have to memorize your lines. I mean, I've done a lot of stage plays. I've been in a lot of musicals and a lot of stage productions, and memorizing lines is, you know, especially if you have a big role, a lot of work. And of course, there's not much more embarrassing, right, than being on stage in front of an audience and forgetting your lines. So it's kind of fun that you don't have to memorize your lines as a voice actor. But it's very fulfilling. One of the funnest things about being a voice actor is you get to play characters that you would never get cast as on stage or on camera. Like, I will never be cast to play a tiny pipsqueak alchemist. I'm just too tall. You're like, you're not that tall, but I know, but I'm taller than Ed, and that's all that matters. But then, of course, so is everybody else here.
I'm short.
Well,
Do you remember your first company that you worked for as a voice actor?
oh yeah, it was right here in Houston. ADV Films. I was working on a video production with a guy named John Mignogna, and John was an actor here in town. He's done a lot of stuff at like the Alley and a lot of the like. Is there a community theater in town called Stages? Anybody know? There are a couple of community theaters and different stage theater productions in town, and John worked with a lot of them as an actor. And he and I were working on a video production one day here in town, and he said to me, hey, you've got a lot of acting experience, don't you? And I said, yeah, I've been doing that for a long time. And he said, you should go and audition for this place in town. I work with them. They're called ADV Films, and they're basically a little studio of guys that love anime and have licensed some shows, and you should go and audition. And I thought, well, that's kind of fun. When I was a little kid, I loved Speed Racer. I loved anime when I was a kid. I didn't know it was anime. I just knew it was weird. I mean, in a good way, you know what I mean? Like, it didn't look like Scooby-Doo, right? It didn't sound like Bugs Bunny. It was just unique in its animation style and its vocal performances and the storytelling. But I didn't know it was anime. And so I went and auditioned, and I got cast, and the first thing I ever did was Street Fighter II. I played Vega, the matador kind of guy with the mask and everything. And, exactly. And I thought, well, that was fun. I just figured it was kind of a weird, kind of one-time thing, right, you get to do. And then a few weeks later, they called me, and they said, hey, we got this other show, Neon Genesis Evangelion. Do you want to come play a role in that? And I was like, sure. I heard something. I was like, ooh, who's that? And so it just kept going from there. And then as I started going to anime conventions, I would meet people from other studios, like Funimation in Dallas, or DuArt in New York City that does Pokemon, Digimon, stuff like that. Studios out in LA that do Naruto, Bleach, Vampire Knight, all that stuff. And so it just really was very haphazard. It was like really coincidental. It just kind of happened. But I started here in Houston. As a lot of you know, I lived here for 20 years. I lived in the Jersey Village area. I lived in the Galleria area. I lived in Spring Branch area. And I love Houston. In fact, it was Houston that made me fall in love with Texas. I lived back east. I lived in the Pittsburgh area. I went to school all up and down the east side of the country, Florida, Virginia, all there. And then I met a girl that lived in Houston. And so I came here and I fell in love with Texas. And then I moved out to LA for a while, and I did not like that. I didn't like it at all. And so I couldn't wait to get back to Texas. And by the time I moved back here, I had a lot of friends and was doing a lot of work in Dallas. And so I moved to Dallas. So I'm back in Texas, where I love it so much. And any place I ever go, I'm like, Texas is the best. It is. It's totally the best. You guys are blessed. I mean, how many people are pouring into this state because it's such an awesome place, right? Texas and Florida, right? People are moving here like crazy, and you're already here. You're the smart ones. We knew all along, right? But they're just finding out. Yes?
So we're getting close to the end. I want to give it to her and then one more who's in the very back.
Okay, and before I forget, you guys, you gonna be here tomorrow? Can we pick this up again tomorrow? I love, these panels are my favorite. You know what? Ever since COVID, a lot of conventions don't do panels anymore. I'm not sure why. I guess maybe, close proximity, blah, blah, blah. I don't understand. Maybe that's the reason. I don't know. But
still does panels. Anime USA still does panels.
Oh, good. Well, Anime Matsuri does panels, and so we want to make the most of it. And I love sharing this time with you guys. So what time's tomorrow's panel? 6 o'clock? Let's be here again at 6 tomorrow, okay? And there'll be a lot more people because it'll be Saturday. So I will look forward to seeing you guys, and we'll pick up with any questions you have. We'll talk about more fun stuff tomorrow. Yes?
Oh. I'm an aspiring voice actress myself, and I just was wondering if you had any tips for starting voice actors.
I do. The first thing is to get as much... Thanks for coming, you guys. See you tomorrow. I hope. Bye. We're never coming back. The first thing I would say is get as much experience as you can acting. I know that seems kind of, self-evident, but the truth of the matter is that the operative word in voice acting is not voice. It's acting. You are playing a character. You just happen to be playing a character in front of a microphone. But it's acting. So get as much experience as you can acting, whether it's, like I say, community theater, church productions, school productions. Just develop your skills as an actor. It also is very helpful to become real familiar with your voice, what you can do with it. A lot of the voice actors that I know are also singers, musicians and singers. And one thing you would expect a singer to know is their voice. What it can sound like, what they can do with it, how they can control it, subtle changes they can make in it, and all those things come in very handy as a voice actor. And the second thing would be being where the work is, being where there are opportunities. I know I've said this many, many times, and I apologize for repeating myself, but it's just as true today as it ever was, and that is, if I wanted to be a country music singer, where would I go? That didn't take any time at all, did it? Country music capital of the world. You go where the opportunities are most plentiful in the area you're looking to be a part of. So you can be the greatest voice actor in the world, and if you live in Bowling Green, Kentucky, you're probably not going to get many opportunities to voice act, right? It's not a that's not a negative thing. It's just just a reality, it's just a fact. So being where the work is important. Last thing is, and I added this one a few years ago, tenacity. You know what that means? Being tenacious. Don't give up easily. If you're the kind of person who gets discouraged easily, voice acting isn't for you. In fact, no creative field is probably for you, because creative arts, no matter what it is, writing, singing, dancing, acting, visual art, all of those things, there are people dying to get the chance to do those things. There's a lot of competition. And if you're the kind of person that's like, oh, I auditioned 3 times and I didn't get cast, this is stupid, I quit. Well, guess what? The 4th time, you might have gotten cast, but you gave up. So don't give up. You just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Some of the popular people that you know in television and film and music are not necessarily the most talented. In fact, I can assure you they're not. You know what they are? They're the people that didn't give up. They're the people that just kept knocking on the door and just kept pushing until they got an opportunity. They made the most of it. Yes, in the back. I think this is our last one.
Yes, it's my
favorite experience of voice acting? Sorry, Spirit from Solita. And the second one is, could you give us your Tommy Mommy impression, please?
Okay, first of all, Soul Eater was a very long time ago, but I'll tell you what I remember about Soul Eater. I remember that when Zach was casting for Soul Eater, I read for a lot of the main characters. I read for Soul, I read for Death the Kid, I read for, you know, the main characters, and I didn't get cast. I was kind of bummed about it. But, hey, you know, you win some, you lose some, right? Well, then Zach called me and he goes, I want you to play this other guy. His name is Spirit, and he's Maka's dad. And I'm like, okay, you know, I'm happy to do it, right? Sure. I had no idea how much fun he was. And you know what? So many times, it's the secondary characters that are the most fun. Because if you think about it, the main character is kind of the grounding. You know what I mean? Everything happens around the main character, right? The main character is kind of the anchor point of the show. And it's all those secondary characters that can be so funny or flamboyant or scary or eccentric or whatever. And as an actor, you have a lot of fun with those characters. And I remember that Spirit was one of the first of those secondary characters that I played that I just absolutely loved. He was so sad. Like, I thought that he was kind of like a grown-up, sad version of Tamaki. You know what I mean? Like, in high school, he was like, oh, Mr. Romantic, right? And oh, Tamaki, right? In high school, he was the man with game, right? He had the riz, right? I learned that word last week. Tamaki had riz. Am I right? Okay. But then he grew up. And then he just kind of got sad, and he started drinking. And then he got married, and then he got divorced, you know, and he's got a kid, and he's like, what happened to my life? You know? So, you know, like the football star in high school, you know, who's now like, you know, it's like, wow, he was like the big, famous, popular jock in high school, and now he, you know, whatever, he's just not even doing anything like that anymore. So I remember that I kind of felt like Spirit was, Death Sight, I guess whatever you want to call him, was kind of like a sad, unfortunate version of Tamaki all grown up. And I just loved the character. I loved it. Those secondary characters are often the most fun to play. You guys, don't forget what I showed you. He's got #1 right there. I'll have those tomorrow, and I will look forward. Those of you that I have not gotten to meet yet, today at Autographs. Come on down to the table tomorrow. There are a lot of great guests down there. Some awesome friends of mine, Jacob Takanashi, Tiffany Vollmer, Linda Young, Cynthia Krantz, Dragon Ball fans unite, a lot of great voice actors and artists down there, authors, so many fun things to see and do. So if I met you today, come back tomorrow, and if I didn't meet you, come back tomorrow, and I will look forward to seeing you at the table, and also look forward to seeing you at the panel tomorrow afternoon, okay? I love you, daughter. My darling daughter. Take care, guys. See you tomorrow.